Hey there, fellow gun enthusiasts. I've been knee-deep in the world of firearms for years now, carrying, training, and stocking up on what works best for self-defense and range days. Lately, though, I've noticed a real shift happening out there. We're in 2025, and while 9mm has been the kingpin for decades, more shooters like you and me are eyeing alternatives that pack specific punches. Don't get me wrong, 9mm isn't going anywhere. It's affordable, reliable, and everywhere. But these newer calibers are sneaking into range bags because they solve problems 9mm just nudges at. Today, I'm breaking down it all for you. First off, let's talk about why 9mm earned its throne. Back in the 80s, NATO adopted it as the standard, and that rippled down to law enforcement. Remember when the FBI ditched 40S and W after ballistic tests showed modern 9mm loads could match penetration and expansion with less recoil and more rounds in the mag? That sparked a boom. Agencies switched, civilians followed. Then came the concealed carry revolution with guns like the SIG P365, stuffing 10+ rounds into a pocket-sized frame, light recoil for newbies, cheap ammo, and guns getting sleeker every year. It became the go-to not because it was the best at everything, but because it was damn good at most things. Hell, I've carried a Glock 19 for years. It's like an old, reliable truck that just runs. But here's the kicker. Shooters are getting pickier. We're asking for more capacity without bulk, flatter shots at distance, or raw power for bear country. And in 2025, ammo availability for these alternatives is catching up fast. Videos are popping up everywhere about folks dumping 9mm for these shifts, and trends show more handguns chambered in them than ever. If you're nodding along, hit that like button and subscribe to Survival Gear Showcase for more deep dives into gear that could save your skin. All right, let's dive into the calibers making waves, starting with 30 Super Carry. This one's like that sneaky underdog that surprises you at the range. Federal designed it to tweak the concealed carry game without reinventing the wheel. Picture this. A 100-grain HST bullet at about 1,250 feet per second, ballistically right in 9mm wheelhouse. But the slimmer diameter lets you cram more rounds into the same frame. Take the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. In 9mm, you're at 10+1, but switch to 30 Super Carry and boom, 13+1 without adding bulk. I've run drills with it, and the slide track's smoother, recoils a hair lighter, making double taps feel effortless. No more fighting the muzzle rise on follow-ups. It's like the gun's helping you keep that tight group. Now, is it perfect? Ammo's pricier, around $35 a box for defensive loads, but you get nickel-plated brass, sealed primers, and consistent crimps that hold up after sweaty sessions. I've disassembled rounds post-range and seen the HST pedals bloom reliably, even from a stubby 3.1-inch barrel. It's not out to dethrone 9mm everywhere. It's for appendix carriers who obsess over round count without printing like a bad tattoo. In 2025, popularity's mixed. Some call it a novelty due to cost, but others swear by its compactness, blending 9mm punch with .380 size. Personally, I grabbed one for urban carry. Extra rounds mean extra peace of mind when things go sideways in a crowd. Imagine a home invasion scenario. You're not fumbling for a reload mid-fight. That capacity edge could be the difference. Shifting gears to something spicier, the 5.7 by 28mm. Man, this caliber feels like FN hit a rifle in a pistol. It's not about brute force, it's about outsmarting the competition with low recoil, long reach, and mags that seem bottomless. A 40-grain bullet at 2,300 feet per second from a 5-inch barrel. That's flat shooting magic. I zeroed at 25 yards and stayed on target at 75. No drop like you'd fight with 9mm. The bottleneck case feeds like butter, minimal nose dives, even in high-cap mags. Take the FN57 polymer over steel slide, ambidextrous ergonomics, high-riding slide that pins the muzzle on rapid fire. I've put hundreds of rounds through one, and the ability to handle precision work is a dream. Then there's the PSA Rock with its 23-round double stack, budget-friendly and reliable. Ruger's LC 5.7 brings anodized aluminum and a crisp hammer-fired trigger, 20 rounds flush fit. In 2025, this caliber's exploding in popularity, resurgence since 2020, with more affordable options like Palmetto State Armory's take, and ammo prices stabilizing around $38 to $50 for Gold Dot or Elite Defender loads. It's killer for soft armor penetration and suppressed shooting. Think home defense where you need to hear what's coming next. From my experience, I once took a 5.7 to a steel challenge match. While others wrestled recoil on their 9mm, I was popping plates at 50 yards like it was nothing. Low flip means faster splits. And that capacity? In a prolonged threat, like a multi-assailant break-in, you're not swapping mags as quick. Sure, it's not a plinker's dream due to cost, but for mission-focused carry, it's gold. If you're eyeing one, pair it with a suppressor. Recoil's so tame, it's almost cheating. Next up, let's crank it up a notch with the 10mm. Oh boy, this one's a beast that grabs you by the collar and doesn't let go. If you've ever shouldered a Springfield XDM Elite in 10mm, you know what I'm talking about. The heft alone screams serious business. And when that slide racks back after a shot, it's like the gun saying, yeah, I mean it. This caliber isn't riding some fad wave. It's surging because shooters are demanding more raw power, more reach, and that extra edge in stopping a threat cold. Think 200 grain Underwood XTP loads blasting out at 1,250 feet per second, delivering close to 700 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That's stomping harder than most .357 Magnum rounds, but in a semi-auto with better capacity and quicker follow-ups. I've taken a 10mm out to the woods for bear defense drills, and let me tell you, it punches through barriers like 9mm wouldn't dare. The XDM Elite's optic-ready setup, 5.25-inch match-grade barrel, fiber optic front sight, and that crisp, short reset meta trigger make it feel like a precision tool, not a bucking bronco. Forged steel slide with melanite finish shrugs off rust, and the aggressive grip texture keeps it planted without shredding your palms. Mags hold 16 rounds, giving you full-size control over a big board that's revolver territory. Ammo. Yeah, it's $30 to $45 for a 20-round box of premium defensive stuff. But this ain't for plinking paper. It's for when you're off-grid, truck gun ready, or facing something that laughs at lighter calibers. In 2025, the 10mm's popularity is exploding. Manufacturers are churning out more models than ever, from SIG's P320X10 to Glock's G20, fueled by hunters and backcountry folks who want that magnum punch in a handgun without the wheel gun limitations. Trends show a resurgence since the early 2000s, with affordable options making it accessible beyond niche crowds. Imagine a home invasion in rural nowhere. That energy margin means one shot ends it, not a mag dump. If your threats involve cover, this solves problems 9mm dodges. The .357 SIG is that no-nonsense round that doesn't scream for attention, but delivers when it counts. Like handing a buddy a SIG P229 and watching his eyes light up after the first magazine. It's basically a necked-down 40S and W case slinging a 9mm projectile at warp speed, around 1,400 feet per second with a 125-grain Spear Gold Dot. Forget plus P hype. This is flat shooting velocity that stays on point past 50 yards and expands reliably after smashing through car doors or auto glass. The P229's stainless slide, beefy alloy frame, and tuned recoil system eat the snap without battering the gun or your wrists. This isn't trendy fluff. It's mission built for outperforming 9mm on hard targets, with that bottleneck design feeding smoother than silk. Ammo's out there, though not as cheap as 9mm, and in 2025, it's seeing a quiet comeback among pros who value barrier penetration over sheer volume. Some call it snappy, but modern loads tame it, and agencies are revisiting it for its edge over straight-wall calibers. Picture a vehicle assault. You're not guessing if it'll penetrate. It does, and follows up fast. Not for everyone, but if your threats involve cover, this solves problems 9mm dodges. Last but not least, The Wild Child, 22 TCM. Fire off a few from a Rock Island Armory 1911 in 22 TCM and heads turn, not just from the sharp crack, but because it sounds like a rifle snuck into pistol class. This bottlenecked beauty, based on a shortened 223 Remington case, launches a 40-grain projectile at about 2,000 feet per second from a 5-inch barrel. Velocity flattens trajectories like a laser, punches body panels with ease, and keeps recoil milder than you'd expect from the speed. Magnum vibes without the flip. The Rock Island TCM series nails it. Full-size 1911 with parkerized steel frame, fiber optic front sight, skeletonized trigger and hammer, and a ramped barrel tuned for the pressure. Delayed blowback keeps it reliable. And the kicker, it ships with a swappable 9mm barrel and recoil spring, 2 calibers, 1 gun. Mags run 10 to 17 rounds, and Arms scores the main ammo source at $25 to $35 for 50 rounds. In 2025, it's niche but gaining traction among varmint hunters and speed demons who want rifle punch in a handgun frame. Availability is improving, with price spikes from enthusiast demand, but it's not mainstream yet. Perfect for folks tired of 9mm meh. For a truck gun or varmint control, it's like a handheld AR without the bulk. These calibers aren't just backups, they're fixes for 9mm blind spots. From 30 super carries capacity hack to 5.7's precision reach, 10mm torque, 357 SIGs barrier busting, and 22 TCM speed demon act. Shooters in 2025 are tailoring their loads like never before. Ammo's catching up, guns are evolving, and that one tool for all mindset, it's fading fast. In 2025, 9mm still the reliable sedan you drive daily, but these calibers are the sports cars, trucks, and hot rods for when you need more. The guns are out there. Glock, SIG, FN, Springfield, Rock Island, and ammo's catching up, with Federal, Spear, and Armscore stepping up production. Posts on X and gun forums are lit with debates about these rounds, and for good reason. They're not just alternatives, they're upgrades for specific fights. Pick your mission: urban carry, home defense, backcountry, and there's a caliber here that fits like a glove. If this got your gears turning, hit that like and subscribe to Survival Gear Showcase for more breakdowns on gear that's got your back. Stay safe, stay sharp, and keep training.